All right, peeps. So today we're still talking about area. We've talked about the first two shapes. We've talked about triangles. I guess technically three shapes. We did triangles, squares, and rectangles before. Today we're adding two more shapes to that. We're going to be talking about the area of a trapezoid is what this shape is called. Trapezoid. And then we're also talking about the area of a rhombus or a parallelogram. That's on the other side. So we'll talk about that in just a second. When you see a trapezoid, you'll usually have a dotted line in the middle like this. That vertical dotted line or dashed line is your height. You're always going to use your height when you're finding the area of your trapezoid. It's actually going to be something that you multiply by. You never use the values on these sides here. If you have a number here or a number over here, you're not going to use those when you're finding area. These are the sides, yes, but these are slanted. Those are diagonal, so those cannot be the height. Height has to be vertical, straight up and down. Let's label that here, actually. This is the height. Let me use a color marker. In the middle here is the height. H-E-I-G-H-T. Hopefully you guys can kind of read that. Besides the height, you have two other pieces of your trapezoid that you need. I know before we talked about the base of a triangle is flat. So y'all, there's actually two bases on a trapezoid. There's the bottom base right here, the flat base on the bottom, and actually they have a base on the top as well. That flat base on the top is actually called base 1. On the bottom here, we have base 2. So y'all, trapezoids are kind of tricky because their formula is a little bit longer than the other ones we've had before. Most of the time, we only have 3 steps: base times height divided by 2. That's for triangles. And then squares and rectangles are just length times width, or base times height. So those ones are just 2. This one actually has 4 things, but if you take your time, y'all, it's really not much worse than a triangle. The first thing we do when we have a trapezoid is add our bases. So the beginning of the formula, I know you can't see this, but I'll move out the way in just a second. Base 1 plus base 2. That's the first thing that we're going to do is base 1 plus base 2. That's why I put them in parentheses so we know we do that first. After that, you multiply times the height. So the height will be given to you right there. Your last step, after you have a value, you're going to divide it by 2. Base plus base times height divided by 2. I'm going to actually work a problem like this in just a second. If you need a second to write down this formula, you definitely should. This is the formula that you need, to find the area of a trapezoid. Base 1 plus base 2 times height divided by 2. That light is terrible. So I hope you guys can see this pretty good. There's a little bit of a light glare right here, but that shouldn't really affect our numbers. So y'all, I'm going to rewrite the formula so we know what we need to do here. We said we have to do base 1, so B1 plus base 2 times H, which is my height, and then we divide by 2. I know I don't need this side number, and I don't need this side number. I need the bases and the height. The first thing I'm actually going to do is plug in my new numbers so I can solve my equation pretty easy. So base 1, or B1, is 11. So I'm going to replace this one with an 11. 11 plus base 2 is 13. So 11 plus 13 times my height is 7. And then divide by 2. Now I can go through my steps. 11 plus 13 is 24. Bring down my math. Times 7. Divide by 2. 24 times 7 is 168. 168 divided by 2. So now my final answer, whatever 168 divided by 2 gives me, two goes into 8 4 times. So my answer would be 84 feet with the little 2 on it. But y'all, since you're doing it on the computer, you're just going to put the number as your answer. So 84 would be my answer for that one, or 84 square feet. Y'all, I've actually decided I'm only going to have you guys do trapezoids today because it is kind of a lot. But please make sure you guys take your time. Add your bases, multiply times your height, divide by 2. I'm actually going to take you back to the formula here in case you still need it. Base 1 plus base 2 times height, divide by 2. Thanks, guys. If you have any questions, please send me an email.